Hey everyone, Joe Haslam, student governor at Lancaster Market College here, and today I'm in some place in Lancaster, Quaker Bake meeting rooms or whatever, and I'm helping with this project to write out the names of all the Palestinians and other innocent civilians that have been killed in Gaza by Israel and the whole war and things. This is probably going to be one of the most morbid and sad videos I ever make, so yes, you've been warned. Let's go and have a look at some of the things people have been doing. I can only apologise if some of the video is a bit wonky. I'm holding this by hand, so let's go and have a look at some of the things people have been doing here. This is my table, and there we go. We're making a banner. Lots of people who have been killed in the conflict. Children get done in red, adults get done in black, and every now and again we write naming the Gazan dead in green, and we're running out of red pens, so there you go. We have a 13-year-old there, a 5-year-old there, and a 9-year-old there. We have a whole list of them that I'm working through. I'm about halfway through that page now, and we've got about 20 odd pages to go. So let's go and have. I've promised I won't film anyone's faces. So camera angles. We've got a couple of unknown ages there.
00.
More pages of people we still have left to do. 4 years old, right there. 8, 4, 11, 12, 9. More and more pages, some of which we've already done, some of which we've still got to get through. Yeah. How many people do you think you've got through today?
Oh, crikey. We must have completed at least a few hundred, I suppose. I don't know, it's hard to estimate because the names are different lengths and so on, but it's got to be at least 200 or 300.
Quick guess, quick count of one of them.
Lindy, can we... Well, one thing Bryony kept suggesting was that we leave a bit of a gap at the top because people have to hold it at the top.
Yeah.
So if we can
further down,
drop it down a bit.
Capital M.
Okay. So that is what I've been doing with my day. Quite mournful, and it's morbidly ironic. I was going to say funny, but it's not funny. I'm going to go back to the mirror so I can get a more accurate camera angle. There we go, back in the toilets. That's better. So yeah, I was at the protest today in Lancaster Market Square, and there was a guy who was letting people borrow protest signs, and like usual I get lumbered with the most controversial one, which was basically a sign listing all the ways that the attacks on Gaza that Israel have carried out have been very, very similar to the attacks on the Jews that Germany carried out in World War II. And you know that feeling you get when you know you're saying something controversial and you know you're right, but there's so many people imploring you to shut up and get down and not hold that sign up. And it always makes you think twice about whether or not you're doing the right thing. And I've spent most of the day, well, all of the day since the protest, and certainly most of the day, writing down the names of people who have been killed in this conflict. And you know, I'm not taking sides in a war because I am against all war. I'm against all war and all violence. But what a lot of people don't realise is that because Palestine is not recognised as a country by many, many people, it has no military, it has no armed forces, it has no army, no air force, no navy, and Israel has the fourth largest military industrial complex in the world. So this is not a war, this is a massacre. And looking back, I'm glad I carried that sign in Market Square in Lancaster. It was the right thing to say, it was true, everything was true. I mean, looking at some of the names that we've been writing down, I wonder how much of a terrorist threat the 5-year-old Tawfiq Ahmed Abu Jamah was. You know, maybe the 9-year-old, his or her brothers or sister, maybe the 9-year-old was a bomb fanatic or something, I don't know. We've got a 1-year-old here, Shahinaz Walid Mohammed Abu Jamah, 1 year old. How much of a terrorist is a 1-year-old? Okay, I wrote down the name of a 1.5-year-old today. What about the 13-year-old? Well, you know, puberty can be really bad. We've all thrown a tantrum and blown a few things up, right? It's disgusting. This is not a war, this is a massacre. And just because you have been the victim of a genocide in the past, that does not mean you can use that as an excuse to play the victim card and not face responsibility for the crimes you commit today. And you have to seriously question. The last point I want to make is that you have to seriously question what's going on when you have kids and teenagers fighting back against tanks by throwing stones and fighting back against fully armed men with sticks. You know, kids don't do that unless they're scared. You know, what would you do? I've got a lot of friends who are kids and young people and teenagers. What would you do if some country invaded us? You know, how would you feel if the only way you could protect your family and your house and your home was by throwing rocks at armoured tanks? So, yeah. Full solidarity with the people of Gaza and the Palestinians. I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm not anti-Israel, I'm not anti-Jews, I'm not anti-religion. But I am anti-war, I'm anti-violence, and I'm anti-genocide. And this cannot be allowed to continue at all. So I urge each and every one of you, please email your local MP, phone your local MP up, do everything you can, sign all the petitions to try and stop the British government from selling weapons to Israel, and actually anywhere. No one should have weapons, not even us. Weapons are used for nothing but killing, and I'm against killing and violence and war and genocide in all its forms. So yeah, sorry for the deep and heavy subject matter of today's random blog. And I'll leave you with that thought. Full support for the National Union of Students and the National Union of Teachers and all the other groups and action groups and unions and so on and so forth who are actively protesting these war crimes. And yes, I'll see you all soon. Okay, bye.